the background. Not much I can do. I was trying to find a nice quiet spot to do this live stream, especially a quick one before I meet up with Christian. I'm going to be doing some filming with Christian before he travels back out east, I think to Thailand or to Vietnam. So I thought, right, whilst I've got a very quick opportunity to give you guys a catch up on what's happened with my clients, I was gonna say client, but actually clients. It was absolutely fantastic. So as the title of this very quick live stream suggests, my client got his first number. So just as a very quick recap for you, I was working with a 32-year-old Pakistani guy who's just come out of his first relationship. He was very shy growing up. He was very much a late bloomer. And only in the last year he had his first ever relationship, which lasted about 7-8 months. And he had the old school one-itis. So he decided he wanted to do something about his dating life. And then he reached out to me, and we spent a week working together, getting into practice, going up to strangers, giving compliments and having conversations. Now, throughout the week, he did genuinely struggle to kind of like break through a lot of those barriers that were holding him back from speaking to people, and he had a lot of limiting beliefs. And it's just worth noting that everyone is usually in a very different place when they come forward and either work with me or if they're working with any other dating coach. Some are already in a great place with their social skills. Others don't have any social skills whatsoever. So I'm always very empathetic and sympathetic to people's scenarios. And with him, you know, it took us a week to be able to get the stop right with going up to people, certainly working on those limiting beliefs, but being able to actually give genuine compliments to people, stopping him from ejecting, because he was ejecting very quickly, wasn't really challenging people, especially where there was a girl who said that she had 2 boyfriends, and he didn't challenge that to try and get a phone number. But was it 2 days ago when we had our final session? I'm almost losing track of my days here from working with Christian, but a few days ago we had our final session together, and we were walking around, and the first half of the session, or the first 2 hours, he did about 15-20 approaches. So ultimately overall he did about 70 or so approaches over the course of the week with me, which was brilliant. But the real fantastic epiphany that he had that got him this phone number was that we were walking down Oxford Street, and there's a very lovely lady, and I wanted him to just give her a compliment, and he went over, and because of just how narrow the street was and how busy it was, he accidentally kind of got a little too close, and he startled her, and she sort of jumped quite loudly, and everyone sort of like looked and turned. But to my surprise, he handled it incredibly gracefully, and he was like, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry to make you jump. I just wanted to give you a compliment. I thought you looked great." And she just absolutely melted into it, and they had a very brief chat, and out of nowhere he mustered the courage to ask for her phone number, to take her for a coffee date, and she said yes. So I was so over the moon that it kind of took him having this like exorcism moment. It was a bit like watching someone have like a shot of coffee and the caffeine hitting at that particular moment, and he got a number. So, you know, it took us a week to get there, but I was so proud of him, the fact that on that last day he got a number, he did loads of approaches, and also part of the final day is to try and encourage my client to be able to approach on their own without me, you know, making the suggestions, pointing someone out, because ultimately what does tend to happen in this industry is guys get very reliant on a coach, whatever that coach might be, to actually pick someone for them, and then they're reliant on it. So after, you know, they leave and they go off and do their own thing, they don't tend to carry on with stuff unless they've got like a wing or someone to go out with. So I like to think like I try and train people to carry on with things on their own, and it was just really good that about half the session he did actually pick people on his own. There was a little bit of a nudge and a bit of encouragement on my part, but where I wasn't picking for him, but was like, oh look, I've just seen 1 girl go by, 2 girls go by, 5 girls go by, you know, and eventually he did it just with that added pressure, which was amazing. And I've given him feedback of things to do with going forward as well, and if anything, certainly a big thank you to him. But I mean, he actually bought me a really nice cologne as a thank you, which I never expect from people to treat me things. But I was just so taken back that he gave it to me. So if he's watching this, or when he watches this, honestly, thank you so much. And actually, I'd love to try and get him as an interview for my channel, so you guys can actually hear his story as well. Because it's one thing hearing it from me, but it's another when you hear it from my clients, and the kind of journey and transformation they go on, because I think it says more from them than it does from me. So it was really cool doing the 7-day coaching with him, and I certainly wish him the best with it. And one of the things is always, I'm always there for support for people if they genuinely need it. I think it's just really important to constantly give people that encouragement to actually stay motivated and carry on their journey. So yeah, that was my 7-day transformation with that guy, which was great. How am I doing time wise before Christian gets here? Okay, I've probably got a couple of minutes until he probably appears, so I've got to try and keep an eye out for Christian. What else? So I also had a client, a new client actually, who he'd come to London. He's from the Netherlands. He's come to London for a very short period of time. Hang on, have I got a message from Christian? No. Okay, all right. I've got a little bit more time until Christian comes. Like I say, I'm just keeping an eye out for him. See if he's here yet. So I had a guy who's come over from the Netherlands. He's only here for a short period of time, and he reached out. We went out for a day, and he'd not really done too much cold approaching before, but he took it to like a duck to water. It was just so impressive. He must have gone into a good 25 to 30 approaches after the 4 hours that we were out together. I don't think he'd ever really felt the euphoria that a lot of my guys feel when I get them to do back-to-back approaches, and also going into approaches that are quite intense. Like, he spoke to some really amazing girls, gave them some compliments, so there was just a lot of practicing, getting him to speak to people in a much more heartfelt way, just with bringing a lot more self-expression, because I think it's very easy for guys to just go over and give people compliments and just say, oh, you look lovely, oh, you look amazing today, oh, you look beautiful, and it's not really anything that meaningful. So I'm very much about developing your self-expression as well as your confidence, and I'll use another big word here, that self-actualization. But it was a really cool session, and he loved it so much that he's booked with me now next Monday, and he's also taken my final week of availability at the end of March as well. So hopefully that says a lot about what my coaching is like, that he actually booked another 2 sessions, or another session and a week with me. I don't know if my audio's just gone on my my headphones, or if actually that's just the machine in the background that has now stopped going. But no, I'm really looking forward to working with this guy again. At the moment, I think he's working also with another coach, and then he's going to be coming back to me. So yeah, I'm thoroughly interested to see how he gets on when he comes back to work with me. And with him as well, we were working on how to just stop more appropriately. I think the stop tends to be overcomplicated by other dating coaches, so I have my own method, which just makes it a lot more natural. You're not overthinking it. You're not thinking what distance you got to be, what eye contact you got to have, what your opening sentence has to be, or how you're going to spin around the girl. None of that nonsense. It's just going over to someone and expressing with urgency, with conviction, that you want to stop them, to tell them something that is hopefully going to make their day. So I'm looking forward to working with that client again as well. That's going to be next week. Today I'm with Christian. Tomorrow I'm with Christian for one last day before he disappears. So definitely have a look on his channel for some of the content that we've filmed together. That's Christian Casanova, if you haven't guessed it already. But I'm now going to have a look out for him, just in case I miss him. But no, I will put out more content on this video. As you can imagine, I'm literally walking 10-15 miles a day. I'm absolutely shattered by the time I'm getting home, which I know shouldn't really be an excuse, but we'll just say I'm getting old with my age, and I think I'm certainly feeling it. So I will make sure that I put out some content. I'll even try and do something even in the evening, even if I'm sort of sharing some of my older videos that will hopefully give you guys some inspiration with, you know, working on your social skills or going out to talk to people. But yeah, it's been such a productive week. I certainly can't complain. So I will put content out as soon as I can, but until then, I'm gonna have a look out for Christian to see if I can find him. Knowing my luck, I'm probably meeting him at the wrong spot, so I will keep you guys posted. But yeah, to the guys that I've been doing the client transformations with, now honestly, again, well done, especially to the guy who was doing the 7-day with. You really did do phenomenally well, and I know how scary it is to go out and approach people. And I think, you know, if I can get you on my channel for an interview, I think you'll find that you'll be such a huge inspiration for other guys. I think it will really, really mean the world to them to show them what's possible. If, you know, even if they are absolutely frightened of leaving the house, I think, you know, with a bit of time and a bit of TLC and certainly a bit of a practice, in like 6 months, a year's time, they'll be in an amazing place. So I'll end it there. I'm going to go and try and find Christian now, and I'll try and take some photos as well of like some behind the scenes stuff as well.